Pastor Dan Abraham. Thank you for joining in with us again here at St. Peter's as we count down towards Christmas, picking up on the key events, the key people behind those events in Jesus's family tree. Some of you may be using the Jesse tree, putting the ornaments up each day and reading a devotion with them that explains that ornament, more importantly, the events, the people behind that ornament. Or you may be using the pre-recorded videos that are there at our website. Tonight, a little deeper devotional thought for you, the parents. The theme tonight is on one of Jesus's great ancestors, Jacob. And to give away the conclusion from the start, Jesus is the mirror opposite of Jacob. But I'll get to that in a moment. The story of Jacob takes up some 22 chapters in the book of Genesis. And it starts with Jacob always running a scheme from his birth, literally from his birth on, always scheming to get God's blessing. You may have met a Jacob. You may have one in your family. You may be the one that's always scheming to somehow get ahead. And those schemes keep failing on Jacob. He's so successful at his scheming that by the time he's a young man, his twin brother Esau wants to kill him, has sworn he'd kill him, and Jacob has to run for his life. 20 years passed, and Jacob has run a number of other schemes trying to get God's blessing. And some of those have failed. He is now married to 2 women because one of his schemes failed, and he has 2 families to take care of, 11 children. And God has revealed to him it's time for him to go home. And he's afraid because he's going to meet his brother Esau for the first time in 20 plus years. And he's sworn to kill him. And so the night before they meet, still being a little schemy, Jacob sends his 2 wives and their children with presents ahead of him across the Jabbok River. And he comes to a moment of crisis. He could lose it all. Maybe you've been there in your own life when there's just no way out. You know it's a make or break moment and you can lose it all. And that's Jacob. And that's where we pick up the story in Genesis chapter 32 with Jacob saying, O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, you said to me, go back to your country and your relatives, and I will make you prosper. I am unworthy of all the kindness and faithfulness you have shown your servant. I had only my staff when I crossed this Jordan, but now I have become 2 groups. Save me, I pray. And by those 2 groups, he means his 2 wives and the children he's received from them. And as he prays, well, suddenly a stranger appears, a man, and he starts wrestling with him. And Jacob's assuming it's maybe one of Esau's soldiers. But he can't beat him. And he wrestles with this man all night long. And coming on morning, this strange man reaches out and touches Jacob's hip, and just with a touch, dislocates it. And Jacob realizes he's been struggling with God. In fact, he names the place Face of God. I've seen the face of God. And this man, this God man, says to Jacob, no longer will your name be Jacob, schemer. From now on, your name will be Israel. And Israel means one who wrestles or struggles with God. And Jacob's life is forever changed with a new name. He's always been struggling with God. He just thought he could win it by his own power or strength or effort. Fast forward some 1600 years to the life of Jesus. A human ancestor, yes, of Jacob, but also God come in the flesh. And as that mirror opposite of Jacob, Jesus' struggle is not to somehow scheme and get God's blessing. Jesus' struggle is to carry the sins and the schemes of everyone else. Jacob had thought, oh my goodness, I'm going to be destroyed. The chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak. My brother is going to get revenge. Jesus' struggle is carrying all our chickens, so to speak, our schemes that come home to roost. So much so he takes them to the cross. Jesus' struggle we read about in a very pithy way in the book of Hebrews chapter 5. During the days of Jesus' life on earth, he offered up prayers and petitions with loud cries and tears to the Father who could save him from death, and he was heard because of his reverent submission. Although Jesus was the Son, he learned obedience from what he suffered, and once made perfect, he became the source of eternal salvation for all who obey him. You see, Jesus' suffering, his struggle with God, was to save you and me. The takeaway for us is that our human life as Christians will have struggle in it. That struggle is normal for us sinners, but Jesus has been victorious. He has given you and me a new name also, Christian, little Christ, child of God. Let us live in that new name. Merry Christmas.